अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Nityanandam. This is Sarveshwarananda, and in this episode Swamiji talks about the Ajna Chakra or Ajna Chakra, sometimes called as that, which is nothing but the third eye. The interpretation of the past, current, which is present situation, and the future is all seen by the third eye at once, which means that the consciousness is continuous. Basically, it was present in the past, it is present now, and it is present in the future, which means that it knows everything. So the Deja Vu, otherwise called as already seen. So sometimes these references do come, and it's all in the activation of the third eye or the Ajna Chakra. Please enjoy this episode, and signing off. This is Sarveshananda, Nityanandam.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, the shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're dissecting these really complex spiritual discourses to pull out the most surprising ideas.
And today, we are wading into some pretty deep water. We're looking at that strange flicker of déjà vu and connecting it directly to past lives, consciousness, and even specific spiritual energy centers.
Yeah, our source material for this is a very specific, I'd say esoteric discourse from 2008. It focuses on the Ajna Chakra, the third eye, and how it supposedly dictates our whole experience of time and memory.
So our mission really is to unpack the spiritual mechanics being described.
Exactly. We need to figure out what this text claims déjà vu is, how past lives are accessed, and what the whole point of seeing all this repetition might be.
And we're starting with a foundational claim that is, it's immediately mind-bending. The source says that the difference between the reality you're experiencing right now, awake, and the reality in your deepest dream is not a difference in substance. It's just a difference in the level of awareness you're applying to it.
Okay, let's unpack that. We are all conditioned to think of dreams as, flimsy and waking life as solid, as concrete.
Right.
So if this material says they're fundamentally the same, what does that mean? Are they both just illusions, or are they both equally real?
Well, from this viewpoint, they're both equally real while you're in them. The key idea is this continuity of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's always flowing, always operating, but our awareness, so the spotlight we shine on it, that's what changes.
And this continuous flow is why we have trouble, holding on to certain memories, right? The source uses that analogy of waking up. I might remember a dream for 5 seconds.
And then it's
gone, completely gone.
Precisely. If you're deeply immersed in your waking state, you just don't remember the specifics of the dreaming state. And the text uses this as a direct parallel for why we don't remember past lives.
Okay.
The energy of our awareness is just continuously dividing, continuously diffusing into the current experience.
So we're not losing the memories then. They're just stored in a different dimension of awareness that we're not focused on right now.
That's it. It's like switching channels and completely forgetting what was on the last one. The memory is still there in the flow.
Right.
But the energy required to access the memory of being, say, a child in the 16th century just isn't being sustained by your present identity.
Yeah.
The only thing that really shifts is the intensity of your awareness.
This sets the stage so perfectly for déjà vu. If consciousness is continuous and we have all these patterns stored away, why does the past sometimes just, burst through, that weird flicker? We've all felt it.
Well, the source provides a definition that moves déjà vu completely out of the psychological realm.
Okay, what is it?
It defines it as, and this is quote, remembering the shadow of this work in this work. And by work, it means life.
The shadow. Okay, why a shadow and not the full memory? If it's all continuous, why don't I see the whole scene play out again?
Because that division of energy is still happening. Déjà vu is the feeling of the overlap. It happens when your current experience perfectly matches a really deep pattern from the past.
So it's not about seeing the same person or the same place.
No, not at all. The source emphasizes that it's the same circle, same feeling, same spot, same pattern. The current event is just activating the memory of that pattern, not the full details of the last performance.
So it's an echo of an emotional template. If I'm in a stressful meeting and I get that flicker, it's because I've been in a situation with this exact emotional signature before, maybe centuries ago.
That's the interpretation.
Yeah.
That core experience left an indelible mark, what's called a samskara.
A samskara, an imprint.
Exactly. It's a spiritual or psychological imprint. Déjà vu is just that moment of recognition when a new experience triggers that old, deep imprint.
That makes it feel much more meaningful than just, some neurological misfire. But if we carry millions of these samskaras, why isn't it happening all the time? Why is déjà vu so rare?
And that leads us right to the core mechanism. This is where the Ajna Chakra, the third eye, comes in. According to this philosophy, these memories only start to surface consistently when an individual's level of consciousness is continuously raising.
That is a powerful claim. We usually think of déjà vu as something strange that happens to us, but this suggests it's a sign that we're actually making spiritual progress.
Right.
So how does that shift happen?
When that conscious energy starts rising, it causes the energy of the body and mind to shift and, centralize. Instead of being diffused everywhere, the entire focus of awareness starts to gather at the center.
At the Ajna Chakra.
At the Ajna Chakra.
So it's not just a metaphor, it's a mechanism for focusing awareness. And what happens when that's achieved?
When the Ajna Chakra opens, all those past experiences, all the samskaras, they become available for conscious verification. You gain the ability to see the totality of your past cycles. The source says you can come to the picture and witness your past selves.
Wow. That sounds intense. A little overwhelming, maybe. If you start seeing all these former roles, what's the point? What's the philosophical consequence of that?
The point is to confront the relentless cycle of repetition that defines life. You are repeating similar experiences constantly, whether you realize it or not.
And the purpose of seeing it all at once?
Is to prove that every single role is temporary and cyclical.
This is where the source gives those really jarring details to just hammer home this idea of repetition. It says that over countless lifetimes you have been
a king and a beggar, rich and poor, a spouse and an enemy. But the key isn't just that you've done it, it's the sheer quantity.
How many times?
It's just millions of times.
Millions? I mean, think about that for a second. If I have played the part of the aggressor and the victim, the lover and the enemy, millions of times, what does that do to my current attachments, my current hatreds?
It completely dissolves the personal drama.
Yeah, it has to.
The insight you get from this Ajna Chakra witnessing is that all these roles are they're costumes. Costumes you've put on and taken off over and over. They have no ultimate permanence.
And seeing that, truly verifying that repetition is meant to show the futility of it all.
Exactly. The futility of investing so deeply in any temporary role.
And this realization, this profound sense of it all being temporary, leads to a state called vairagya. Now, that's a sophisticated concept. How does the discourse define it? It's not just apathy, is it?
No, it's much, much deeper than apathy. It's often translated as detachment. But the discourse defines vairagya as a deep boredom, a complete lack of interest in playing these temporary roles.
Boredom. That's fascinating.
It's not that you desperately want peace or anything. It's that you are spiritually profoundly bored with the whole game of attachment and detachment because you've seen the script millions of times.
So true liberation isn't something you achieve through effort. It's just this genuine recognition that the whole cycle is, uninteresting because it's just a repeat.
That's it. Vairagya happens when you recognize the same pattern, the same circle, and you just understand how futile it is to chase those same experiences again. That's what loosens the grip of the cycle.
So if I'm listening right now and I've had these flashes of déjà vu, if that's a sign my consciousness is rising, what's the practical advice here? Do I just wait for this profound boredom to set in?
The advice in the text is very clear. If you're having these spontaneous experiences, it's a sign that you need the help of a master, a guide.
Why?
Because spontaneous experience is often chaotic, it's random, and temporary. You need guidance to stabilize that shift in consciousness, to move from just randomness to conscious mastery.
Okay, so the spontaneous déjà vu is the signal that the engine is on, but you need a guide to learn how to drive. What's the actual technique for moving past the flash and into, continuous witnessing?
The goal is to move beyond that momentary insight to constant awareness.
Yeah.
The technique involves actively using the Ajna Chakra to witness everything. You're looking through your two physical eyes, but you're simultaneously engaging the inner eye.
So you're viewing the current event in the context of the million times it's already happened. That sounds incredibly demanding.
It is. That's why the sustained effort is key. The technique aims to turn that fleeting shadow into constant insight. But, and this is important, the source gives a critical warning here.
What's the warning?
It addresses our modern tendency to intellectualize everything. You cannot confuse this spiritual process with just, intellectual understanding.
So just thinking about the cycle isn't the same as witnessing it.
Not at all. Simply labeling the feeling, oh, that's a samskara, or repeating the philosophy in your head, that's not it.
So if I'm in a conflict and I think, oh, this must be me repeating that enemy pattern, I'm missing the whole point.
Absolutely. The source stresses you have to witness it through a different dimension, through the Ajna Chakra. You have to actually see the repetition, feel the lack of novelty, and integrate that. Intellectual analysis is just another way for the mind to get attached to the experience.
That's a vital distinction. You can't think your way into vairagya. You have to transcend the mind's function entirely through the sustained witnessing.
And this verification is what allows the energy, which was previously diffused into all those roles, to stay centralized. And once it's centralized, the cycle's grip lessens.
Yeah.
You're just not interested in playing the part anymore.
You've seen the script. You're ready for the curtain call.
Exactly.
This has been a really powerful deep dive. I think the core insight for you, the listener, is that from this perspective, that strange flash of familiarity isn't random, it's proof. Proof that past life imprints are surfacing because your level of consciousness is rising and the Ajna Chakra is starting to reveal the continuous cycle of it all.
And the ultimate revelation is that the cycle of life is one of, spontaneous pre-programmed repetition. And becoming aware of that repetition is the first step toward transcending it.
So here's the final provocative thought, coming straight from the implications of this source material for you to consider. If you have truly been your own spouse, your own enemy, a master, a beggar, millions of times, does that mean every experience you have today is just a mandated, pre-programmed repetition?
Or is the sustained, continuous awareness of that cycle the only true way to actually break the pattern? Think about what that state of vairagya implies. The deepest peace isn't found in choosing sides. It's found in realizing you're simply too bored with the game to keep playing.
We'll leave you there. Until next time, keep digging into the sources.